this out on people. And God was ready to take them in at that point. Joshua and Caleb were like, yeah, let's go. But the people were, no. And how many times did Moses always question that day? Moses was a human being, just like me, just like Lee, just like me. He's human. Wonder how many times Moses said, could I have done it differently? Could I have said something to have changed the heart of people? I don't know. But in Numbers 32, Moses finally has his what if moment. Because he brings out to Reuben and to Manasseh when they come to him saying, hey, can we have this land? He said, well, wait a minute. Are you going to stay here and your brothers are going to go across the Jordan? And they got to conquer their land and this is already done? You're just going to let them hang? And they go back and forth, and they finally come. I'm not sure, I have to go back into Numbers 32 and look, but it's either Reuben or Manasseh said, no. We will build our cities, we will build our fences for the animals. We'll leave our wives and our children, but our men of war will be dressed for battle, and we will go first when it came to crossing the Jordan. That was the promise that those two tribes gave to Moses. That when it's time to cross the Jordan, we will go with our brothers. So for 6 years, these men haven't seen home. Is the way you can look at this. They went on to plan because their ancestors, if they're not still alive at this time, gave their word that our men will go and they will lead the crossing into the land of promise. And they fulfilled that promise. They said, no, we will go first. And basically, they became a standing army for the children of Israel as they went in, as they went to Jericho and Ai, and then they branched out to other places. What really caught my attention is the tribe of Levi. They're special. The tribe of Levi had the privilege of working the tabernacle. It fell to the high priest and one or two other priests to help them out to cover different articles in the Holy of Holies and Holy Place so that other men can come in and do their job, pick it up and move it when they move broke camp. But these Levites had that awesome privilege of constantly being before God on behalf of people. That's something we don't always understand. These men got up each day, and it was not to go work in the field. It was not to go work at the blacksmith. It was not to go work at the money changers. It was to go to the tabernacle and offer sacrifices, to say prayers. That was their job. And they gladly did it every single day. But Levi was not given a block plan. So all in all, we have 12 tribes, but the land only got divided up by 11. But what did Levi get? Yes, Levi has the inheritance, as it said right here in verse 14. The tribe of Levi did not give an inheritance. The offerings by fire to the Lord, the God of Israel, are the inheritance as he spoke to tribe of Levi had that awesome privilege of taking care of the tabernacle, of doing those offerings. But it actually went further. I did a little bit more digging. Levi is special in the camp. It was not unusual for the tabernacle. Levi was around it, and then the rest of them were set up that way. They always had to go through a Levi before they could get to the tabernacle, as a way to help keep sin down where needed some guidance on the law. Because the priest did not just handle sacrifices all day long. I'm sure they also spent time studying what Moses wrote down and discussing what was said. But the Levites also received a portion of the tithe and the offerings that were brought to the tabernacle. They were also given 48 cities that are spread throughout Israel. So even though Israel is going to go from one nice neat little camp to quite a good sized area of land, the fact that God spread the Levites around meant that people still had access to somebody who had access to them. That's the way the system is set up right now. If you want to get to Jehovah, go talk to a Levite. If you want to go and make an offering, well, is it acceptable? I don't know. Levites just down the road here in the city. Let's go ask them. So they weren't that far away. And then 6 of those cities were actually cities of refuge, where if there was an accidental murder or some other problem and the person was truthfully innocent, they could go stay in that city as long as they needed to. And I find it interesting that it was the Levites who not only stood before God, but they knew the law of God. So they could hear the case and they could say, yes, your case applies to you staying here at the city of refuge. So, as I was looking at this real quick last night, jotting down a few notes. Where does this bring us? This is a system totally different from where we are today. I am the priest of my own home. I am my own representative to Jehovah, King of the universe. And each one of us has that distinction. Each one of you ladies are a priestess with the right to go to God himself. Especially when us guys don't listen. You got to remember that, guys. They got direct from Africa. Same as us. So, where does this bring us? What's this going to show us today? One of the things that it shows us is that God was willing to put his representatives everywhere. Whitmore Falls, Reuben, Farmington, Wilton, Mount Vernon. Our congregation spread out. I'm not sure, but we'll put you in Wilton with your sister for now. And we're glad you're here today. But his representatives, not all that work falls on us, other than our own reputation and our own testimony. God took his Levites and he said, I want you throughout the land. I want you talking to people. Because not only did they know the sacrifices, they knew the law, they could serve as a lawyer. We as Christians, we get that same privilege. We have direct access to God. We can go and share with our neighbors. Our just have people down here, but have them on the balcony as well. There's room for at least 50 people up there. We got parking space. Not sure if we have room for Sunday school classes yet to get things cleaned up. But what we're showing here is that these men saw something they couldn't afford, and they got it because they stood behind their word. And I think that's something that's very important in this work today. A few weeks ago, I heard the exact opposite. And our competitor has a salesman, calls himself Lion and Larry. People still do business with him, even though, and it's not the nickname. It's the truth about him. But they don't stop doing business with him. Don't know why. But these men knew what was at stake. They knew what they wanted. They went and got it. Next week, we'll take a look at some more of the tribes and see what they got for their land and for their vocation. Because now that we have done with chapter 13, everything that Moses taught while he was still leading the people has been signed. And I have a feeling that it's not really recorded, but as soon as they got the okay, I'm sure those two tribes went to work and started getting things set up so that they were ready to go when the time came. And that's what I have this morning. Next week, we'll be looking at a few more of the tribes and what they got, where they ended up. And we'll see what else God has put in His Word for us. That's all I have for today.
Interesting point is this is all land and east of the Jordan.
Yeah.
Land to the west is what would be now as plotted for the Palestinian home. And there is southern from the river to the sea of Palestine, over through. It never belonged to Palestine. It belonged to Canaan and the Jew who land was promised to them.
And Palestine is a Roman name.
Yes. And what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
you have all, and the other thing is this, there's a lot of, they'll throw out the term ethnic cleansing. This is a specific task that God gave
Yes.
Joshua. This is a specific task that God gave to Moses to, because the sin of Canaan, I guess for lack of better term, had not yet been killed. Because